If I draw a free body diagram to represent myself standing in balance on the floor, would I need two forces to represent the support of the floor on both of my feet in addition to the pull of gravity down to represent my weight? And we looked at this earlier. I mean, if I draw kind of a stick figure representation of maybe myself, it's not going to be necessarily accurate to what I actually look like. But if I looked at this and I said, well, what are the forces? I said there's a weight force or a gravity force pulling me down, right? So there's maybe an F sub G there. And then I said, well, there are forces on my 2 feet pushing up on me. And in that sense, both of those really are normal forces. But the cool thing is we can combine those two because it really makes no difference the fact that there's two of them versus one. So that's a pretty common thing to do in FBDs. Is in some cases there are forces in FBDs that maybe in reality are more than one force. So like another example, this might be like if I'm pulling something with a string. I'm just going to use one force to represent the action of the string pulling on the object, even though in reality, if I look at like how do my fingers and my hand interact with that string, there's like an maybe innumerable amount of forces there that involve the interaction of that string, even like or like a rope or a string going over a pulley. Same thing. There's a lot of potential forces there if we really look at things from a kind of microscopic point of view. But oftentimes, what we're going to do is we're going to simplify things to kind of. I like to use the word, kind of borrow this from an engineering textbook I once studied. That is kind of a single force equivalent system, in the sense that like the normal force here represents like a single force equivalent to these two forces there. So anyways, the answer here says one force will suffice, is enough to represent what is being applied to my feet. And it is common practice to use the smallest number of forces needed in FBD. And in this case, the two forces of my feet can be combined to one force with an equivalent effect. In other words, this adequately shows how these two forces balance and explains the fact that I can stand there at rest.